It's firewood delivery day again today. We're going to put on a full cord. We're going to put on 1/3 of a cord of maple, 2/3 of a cord of oak. We're going to go do a big dump. There's a regular customer. He's been buying wood from me for 10 years. He gets 2 full cords every year. This is going to be a second delivery that I've done this year. Sometimes he'll even do 3 full cords. He burns outside and inside. So ideal customer, a guy that loves fires. Well, I think his wife loves the fires. So this is a guy that wants small wood. He doesn't want anything big because they have a very small insert in their firebox, in their fireplace, and they have a small fire pit, solo stove in their backyard. He says, nothing that my wife can't pick up with one hand, which is exactly what most people say. So we're going to put in the maple first, and then we're going to go over to the oak, and we're going to throw that in. And this is the beauty of having bins where all your wood is just kind of tossed in. Because I did a delivery 2 days ago now. There was a guy that was heating with wood, and he wanted mostly, it was all oak, yeah, it was oak. And he wanted oak, but he wanted mostly bigger pieces, bigger chunks. He said, you know, they're not to be monsters, but he said, you're bigger ones. He knew what size I had, and he said he's fine with some small stuff, but as much big stuff as possible. So I was able to go through the bin, kind of cream out all the big stuff, throw it in, and I dumped it, and he said, awesome, it looks perfect size. That's just what he wanted. And then this guy wants small stuff. Now, the reason this guy wants small stuff is I have always done pretty much the hand size, smaller stuff for all my customers. Well, 2 years ago, I ran out of oak, and he loves his oak. And all I had was some big chunks, stuff that I had kind of been saving for people that wanted something bigger. And I told him, I said, I've got oak left, but it's more on the bigger side. He said, that's fine. Well, it wasn't that fine. He said he could only fit in like 1 and 1.5 pieces. He had to split some down, and he said, definitely next time, smaller pieces. So got to do what he wants, because that's how you keep your customers coming to you, keep them happy, supply them with what they want, not what you want. So we're going to chuck some wood, and then after that, we're going to bring the trailer back, the big one, and we're going to load up a bunch of mixed hardwood. And this is going to a delivery, not tomorrow, but the next day. But I'm going to load it this morning because I've got time today, and I don't have any deliveries with the big trailer tomorrow. I only have my small trailer that I'm going to be using for 1 and 2 face cord deliveries. But this guy is a new customer. I was referred to him from a relative, and he heats with wood. And he told me he wants 3 to 4 full cords. And he asked me, so well, how much can you deliver at a time? Because this is 40 miles away, I have to deliver it. And I told him I can do 5 face cords or 1 full cord and 2/3 per delivery. So 5 face cords. He says, well, let's do a full load. And he wants mixed hardwood, he said was fine. And he said all different sizes are fine. So I'm going to load that up. And the reason that it matters is that normally if I throw this in loose into this trailer, I can fit 4 face cords or a full cord and 1/3. But because I'm going so far, he wanted to make it as big of a load as possible. And I can do 5 face cords or a full cord and 2/3. So he said, fill it full. And he said, we'll see how your wood looks. If I like it, we'll do it again. So it's one of those things. He's going to order a load, going to deliver it, and then there'll probably be more later because the wood is good. I have good wood. Okay, it's chucked. There it is. The chucking is complete. It's time to head down the road and do a big steamy dump. Here we go. That dump is complete, and I am back in the wood yard, and we're going to chuck in a bunch of wood. Now, that last load took me almost exactly half an hour to load. It's about 10 minutes per face cord to just chuck it in, whether it goes into my small trailer, big trailer, into the truck. If I have to do 1/3 of a cord, it takes about 10 minutes. Now, this is going to take a lot longer because it is 5 face cords or a full cord and 2/3. The last one was a full cord. So it's going to be 2 more 1/3 of a cord or 2 more face cords. But the reason it's going to take a lot longer is to get that much in here, I have to stack it. Now, if I fill this completely full with a little crust to it, I can get 4 face cords or a full cord and 1/3, but we need 5. So you know what that means? I have to stack, and I don't like stacking because it takes so much extra time and it really doesn't gain you anything. In my opinion, yeah, you know how much you've got. So that's what we got to do. But I have to do that to fit that much in here. The reason I got the tape measure is because I just want you guys to know I measure the width. This is a 6 feet wide by 12 feet long. So you multiply that out. 6 times 12 is 72. And it is 3.5 feet high from the bottom to the top edge. So times 3.5 is going to give me 252 cubic feet. And I need 256. So if I went completely just level, I would have the 256. I mean, I'd have 252. But I'm going to put a little crest on it so I get to 256 or just a little bit more. If we end up with 260, that's fine. I am back from my delivery, the big steamy dump that I just did, and that load took me about a half an hour to load. It takes about 10 minutes per face cord if I just throw it in loose, or a third of a cord. So a full cord takes about a half hour. Now this next one I'm going to load, I need 5 face cords or a full cord and 2/3. And I have the tape measure just to let you guys know that I am going to have to do a little bit of math to make sure I get this right. I've done it before, so I know, but I want you guys to know. So this is a 6 by 12 trailer. So 6 times 12 is 72, and it is about 3.5 feet high. It's about 220 because I need 220 cubic feet to get me my 5. So 3 feet mark is about right here. Well, about right there. So if I stack this, because I have to stack it in order to fit it all in. If I stack it, but I'm going to have a little slope here because I'm not going to be square up here. So I have to slope this down, and in the front I have to be able to get the tarp out. So if I get it pretty much about to the top, full stacked, and then whatever I can have back here so it doesn't fall out, whatever I don't have so it doesn't fall out the front so I can still get the tarp out, I basically need 220 cubic feet. I'll probably end up with somewhere around 225, 230, something like that. And that's okay if there's a little extra. But that's what I got to do to get this amount in here. So whatever you've got for a container for hauling it, your measuring cup as I like to call it, figure out your cubic feet. There's 43 cubic feet per third of a cord. Because if you take 128, divide it by 3, it's 42.66666666666 or something like that. Let's say 43. So I need 5 of those. So 5 times 43. So I need about 215, 220 cubic feet. So that's what I'm going to put in, that much right now. We're going to stack it. We're going to make a big, beautiful load. And it's all going to be mixed hardwood. The guy said, just bring me good stuff, good, dry, ready to burn stuff. So that's what he's going to get right now. There it is, folks. That took about an hour, and now I remember why I don't like stacking. It's hard on the back. You got to be bent over to put all that in there. Chucking it in is so much easier just being done. But according to my calculations, there is a little over 5 face cords or a full cord and 2/3. There's probably actually real close to 5 face cords and maybe close to half of a face cord. So we're approaching a full cord. If I was to heap this and pile it as high as I could get it, I think I could get 2 full cords in here. Because I could get it up above, so I would be at, instead of 42 inches, I could probably get it to close to 48 inches. I know I would have 2 full cords in there, but I pretty much got the trailer about as much weight in there as I can get. Now there's a lot of ash in here. I would say it's 50% ash, 25% maple. There was a bunch of locusts in there, honey locusts. I saw some cherry, some oak. I saw some thorn apple. I saw some beech. There's a little bit of birch, so a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna put the tarp on right now and get this covered, and then I'm going to go and park this. Now, you probably saw me pull the tarp out. And the reason I pulled the tarp out is because once I get it full, it's hard to get the tarp out because it's on the inside edge there and it's hard to get it unwound. So I'll usually pull it out, throw it across the front so that I'm sure to be able to get it out and on so I can get it pulled out easily. Yeah, I think I could get 2 full cords on here now that I look at this. To know how much net I've got. It's pretty tight right there. I think I could get more on there if I fluffed it a little bit. And not fluffed it, just built it up higher, stacked it better. I gotta go up in there because I can't get this other side. I to go across. I gotta crawl in again. Yeah, this is a load. But it's dry wood and it is ash and maple, so a little bit lighter than like oak or all locusts or like a greenwood would be. So not too bad. We'll tighten this baby up. We're gonna go park it, and then we're gonna go get another trailer, my other trailer, we're gonna load that one up to do a delivery today. Here we go. Well, we just parked the big trailer, the big load, and I hooked up the little trailer, the baby dumper, and we're gonna put a face cord or 1/3 of a cord into this trailer. We're gonna go deliver it. And then that big load that I put on will be delivered not tomorrow, but the day after. But I got it done because that was a big job and I knew it had to get done, and I'm not gonna be using that trailer until then. This one, however, I might be using a couple more times. I got a couple people that either want 1/3 of a cord or 2/3 of a cord, something like that, so I'll be able to deliver it. So right now we're gonna put a half a load on, which is 1/3 of a cord, and go do a delivery. There it is, another 1/3 of a cord in, ready to go down the road. This is going to the guy that buys probably, it's gotta be at least once a month. He buys a load of wood year round. So he's going through probably he's probably going close to 3 full cords a year in his fire pit, but he has 2 houses. And they have a fire every night, he tells me. This is my jerky guy. And yeah, so it's at least once a month I deliver to him. So very good, steady customer. Kind you want, a lot of repeat sales. I just watched a video not long ago and a guy was talking about how, a lot of people will look at wood that we get in the wood yard for processing into firewood, and they're like, hey, that would make really great lumber. How come you're not making lumber out of that? Well, if you figure out how much wood you're getting from a tree and figure out your lumber and figure out the cost to make the lumber, dry the lumber, sell the lumber if you've even got a market, generally you're going to sell one time to somebody a bunch of lumber, and you don't get a lot of repeats. Firewood, lots of repeats. Now there was a tree my brothers and I cut down on my dad's property, I think it was about 2 years ago now. It was an ash tree that was 5 foot across, very big ash tree. It was 175, 180 years old, something like that. Massive tree. We got over 7 full cords of wood out of that one tree. 7 full cords. And a full cord I sell for $360. So if you figured out it was $2,400 worth of wood from one tree, firewood. So there's not a lot of trees that you get that kind of money out of. Yeah, it was a huge tree, but if you just take an average 20-inch tree that's however high a 20-inch tree would be, 50, 60 feet, limb wood, if you take the stuff down to, like 2-3 inches, you take that whole tree, generally you're going to get at least a full cord, sometimes a cord and a half. So one tree can easily be $500 if it's a substantial tree, if it's the wood that's kind of desirable, like say oak, cherry, stuff like that. One tree can be pretty profitable when it comes to firewood compared to lumber. So that's why I always say when guys, ask me, how come you don't have that milled into lumber? It's because I sell firewood. I don't have a mill, and I don't want a mill. I don't need a mill. Maybe someday, but I believe in hiring people to do the things I'm not good at or don't have the equipment for. Dentistry is one I use for an example all the time. I don't do my own dentistry. I don't cut my own lumber. And those guys that do it, and they do a great job. I think it's awesome. But that's kind of that thing that they do, and they work mainly on milling the wood. Firewood is a sideline thing for them for the most part. For me, firewood is the main thing, and YouTube, and hunting. Okay, down the road we go.